Is overnight success, how to achieve your goals in 15 years or less.
Wow.
The reason we say 15 is that 2002, February is when we launched Real Vibes, randomly. That was our first company. We'll end up talking a bit about that, but we've learned that people have so many specific questions that we don't want to spend 45 minutes talking about our story. We talk more about lessons and let you ask us questions after. So we're going to do 30 minutes presentation, 30 minutes Q&A. And so the first thing I would say is, this is what we're going to focus on. The outline is important, is mindset, clarity of purpose, the opportunity matrix, and that's something that's become very important to us. We'll explain why. To make a plan, the right people, attracting capital, or mistakes, and then we'll get into the questions. And I start with this quote because it's just really important to us. It has become the core of everything we do nowadays. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. We don't want to try and get rich quick. We don't want to suddenly be Mark Zuckerberg in a year. That's not the way life works with anything. It takes 4 or 3 years to graduate college, for example. You can't have a child in 1 month by getting 9 people pregnant. That's just not the way. And Warren Buffett is the one who says it, like, and I love Warren Buffett.
Wow.
So before we start, I'm going to show you some driving video thing. That's a nice Rolex. If you, Robert's a watch guy, actually not me. So that's actually the watch I'm wearing. So if you go to the Rolex store, that watch costs $24,000. And then this is my 2 sons, Luke and Liam, hanging out in the living room.
Aww.
So this is why you're going to listen to us, because you want these nice things, right? Or you want to be able to afford them and spend it on something else. You agree with me?
You guys agree, come on.
So I'm going to
agree loudly.
So Miguel knows me from way back when, so I'd say if anybody ever starts a presentation or posts on Instagram or Facebook and says, this is why you need to listen to me because I have this stuff, get up and walk right out of the room. Yeah. Do not agree. And I'll tell you why. So this is us, this is what, like 5 years ago? Yeah. Groupon, $55. Wait. Groupon, $55, 3 laps in the BB&T Center parking lot.
Wow.
Right? $24,000 Rolex. I'm literally wearing it right now. There's a company called 11 James. Some entrepreneurs last year launched a company that's a watch club. $150 a month, 12-month contract, and you get any watch in that specific group that you want for 3 months. Send it back. They send me a different watch of my choice. Wow. So this watch goes back the end of November, and they send me a new watch from 3 months that I chose. Cartier, IWC, Bell and Ross. But the thing is that you also get access to, what they said. So we get access to some special events that are invite only in New York, and I wanted to get access to the events. And I work for a hedge fund, so they actually pay for this. I don't pay for the watch subscription, they pay for the subscription. And then this house is great. Look, I would love to have a living room like that, right? And we in Florida, we know those living rooms. I literally, purposely last week Sunday, found an open house for a house that cost $1.95 million with my wife and kids. Went in there, sat down and took the picture just so I could use it in the presentation. So, simple code. Some people are not what they post to be. It is too easy in this day and age to fake it till you make it. To go on Instagram and get likes because of posting with a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. I can just walk up on South Beach and go to the valley and say, hey, can I get a picture of the car? Boom. Do the car and I'm posting on Instagram. Yo, check me out in Miami and South Beach. Come on, guys. Right? So just, if anybody ever says that, you just get up and just walk out, and if they say, why are you leaving? Say, David and Robert Mullings said that you're full of BS. I'm gone. So let's start what we really need to talk about. The most important thing that Robert and I have recognized over all these years is, the first thing is, the foundation is, you have to have the right mindset. A lot of us don't realize that we think we want to be an entrepreneur, we think we want to do this, but we actually don't have the proper foundation. We don't have the right mindset to help us succeed. Yeah, we didn't necessarily have the right mindset. It's something that we're going to keep working on. But for us, it really came down to understanding why are we doing something and what does it even mean to be the right mindset. Most of us don't have a certain relationship with money. We didn't grow up with a wealthy family that taught us about investing, that taught us that debt is not bad. Debt is neither good or bad. You can use debt for your advantage or for your disadvantage, right? How many of us took our student loans to go to school? That's debt. But we're using it to enhance ourselves so that we're able to earn more money. So I'll give you an example of the right mindset, and then Robert will give you his example. first semester of our MBA program, a teacher says to us in one of the classes, all right, if you win the lottery, what would you do with the money? And so of course we're in an MBA class, so the first hand goes up. Question, sir, how much money after taxes?
Oh boy.
Okay, fine, $50 million after taxes.
Wow.
Okay, now we have a number list to work backwards. And he started going around the room. This is a room of 15 people. And I said, I want to go last. And so he went to ask these people. Somebody said, hey, I'm going to pay off all my student loans. I'm going to buy a house for mom, house for myself, a car. I mean, typical answers. Somebody said they wanted to start a business, so I was glad to hear that. And he got to me. And I said, well, this is interesting, but I spent a lot of years thinking about this. First of all, I wouldn't pay off my student loans because at 3% interest, I can invest at 5, 6, 7% and get a better return. Why would I pay off low interest debt? So I wouldn't pay off the student loan. Great. First thing I would do is cut the money in half, and half of the money is going to be invested in a very index fund, a Vanguard index fund. That's what Warren Buffett says. I'm going to hide half the money and pretend I don't even have it. It's gone. So I don't only have 25 million left. So great. I will make sure that mom and dad are taken care of because they got us to this point. So they will get some money, at least $1 million in an account, and they get to draw on it. That's great. But I'm going to buy a company that's already profitable and existed. I'm not going to start a company. I'm going to buy a company that already has customers, is already profitable, because we have 70 million baby boomers retiring in the next 15 years, and not all of them who have kids who want to take over the business. Yeah, I'll take it over. I don't know who wants to buy a company that already has money, already has cash flow, already has customers, and then apply our young thinking to scale that company. I'm going to that one. That's way less risky. And then obviously I'm going to have good people around me to manage that business because I probably don't even necessarily know what that business is. I don't always know it. So that was my approach to right mindset. Most people, nobody in the class had that answer. I was the only one in the class that had that answer. And the teacher said, you're going to be a multi-billionaire one day. Let's stay in touch.
Oh, wow.
Right? So let's hear Robert's example of right mindset.
So for me, when it came to the right mindset, it didn't have to do much with the money and how you'd invest it, but it came to your everyday feelings. So when I woke up early, I knew I didn't want to work for someone. I didn't want someone controlling my schedule. I didn't want someone telling me when I could take vacation. So I had to sit down, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't look at this, but you have to decide, is it something that you're willing to fight for every single day? Because as an entrepreneur, remember, you control your paycheck. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So you're out there working 24/7. With a regular job, you punch a clock, you show up, you do your 8 hours, in 2 weeks you're gonna get a paycheck. When you run your own business, you literally control your own destiny. You can make as much or as little as you want. So a lot of people have to make a decision. You have to decide, are you willing to take that risk? It's a huge risk, but it has a huge reward. So you have two different mindsets. People that they like the comfort and they like the guarantees, and then you have the people that are willing to go and fight for what they want. So for us, we had to sit down and we had a true heart-to-heart and said, look, we're young. Are we willing to take the gamble now? If you're willing to take the risk, then the reward can pay off in the long run. And to me, that is what, when it comes to mindset, that's the important part.
All right, so now that you understand, and of course, getting to the right mindset means reading some books. And so we'll talk about some books later on, but once you have the right mindset and you understand, I do want to be an entrepreneur. Or in this case nowadays, you can be an intrapreneur. For example, if you work within Google, you could work on some projects that are inside there. So it's not, you don't always have to go and take the risk yourself. Sometimes you could be inside a company and take risk within the company, be an intrapreneur. But it means that you need to be willing to take calculated risk, very important. The first thing is that we need to look at this idea of embracing calculated risk. We need to have a new relationship with money. We need to understand the cash flow quadrant. How many people know Rich Dad, Poor Dad? The book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Right, Robert Kiyosaki. You don't even need to read that book. Skip to his second book. Cash flow quadrant is more important. So if you think of a plus sign with E and S, employee, self-employed on one side, and then B and I, business owner and investor on the other side, most of us are raised to become employees or self-employed. You're going to school to be an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a teacher. That's E and S, right? Employees, doctor, lawyer, so on. Self-employed, a dentist, for example, takes vacation. That's great, they're doing well, but when they take vacation, the office is closed, so their paycheck takes a vacation. Versus the people who seem to make all the money in the world and have the most power to employ the rest of us or donate to our charity that we want to start are on the B and I side. They're business owners and investors. So try and make money from all parts of the quadrant as possible. So you can be an employee. You can have your little side hustle as a self-employed person. You could go and eventually turn that into an actual business that is selling to customers. And then you could become an investor in somebody else's business. Those are 4 ways to make money. And you need to understand that quadrant. And then the most important one is that you need to find a role model. So Michael Leachin is one of my role models. He's somebody I've gotten to meet. I know him personally and I know him very well. He's actually speaking this evening in Miami. Michael Leachin is a Jamaican-Canadian billionaire. Grew up in country in Jamaica. He used to have to bathe in a barrel. Literally, a barrel of water was how he used to have not even a shower, take a bath. He's now a billionaire, and he simply said, first you find a role model. His role model was Warren Buffett, who also happens to be our role model. Second thing is you get the plan from that role model. You could read about Warren Buffett. He doesn't need to meet him. Third one is don't change the plan. That's the most important thing. If you get the plan from the role model, don't change the plan until you've exceeded the role model. Michael Leachin is only worth $2 billion US dollars. Warren Buffett is worth somewhere north of 50 billion. He's not changing the plan anytime soon. Pick your role model. It doesn't have to be a billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, those don't have to be a role model. It could be somebody that the person that started the United Nations, somebody that started an amazing foundation that is doing something directly in your country or in your city. But pick a role model, learn from them. Don't change the plan until you exceed that role model. So that's something that I think is critical. So Henry Ford, everybody knows, one of the most famous inventors in the world.
Yes.
Right? Whatever you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And that's why I want to keep saying mindset. If you tell yourself that I can't swim, then you will never swim. Right? You literally will never swim. You'll drown. You don't start off by saying you can't do something. You start off by trying it. Fail, practice, try. But a baby doesn't get up and suddenly say, well, I can't walk. And just say, they pick up and they're walking all over the place and falling and they keep getting up. And they keep trying.
Don't be afraid to fail. As you said with the baby, every time the baby falls, they get up and they try again. One of the biggest things that we are afraid of in life is to fail because we're worried about what everybody else is going to think about us as a failure. Well, in business, what you learn, you actually learn more from failure than from success. Because if everything you do is successful, you think you have that golden touch, and one day you're going to make a mistake, and it can cost you everything. So don't be afraid to fail.
And so I think it's critical for us to hammer that one home. Don't be afraid to fail, but learn from failures. More importantly, learn from the mistakes of others as well. So do your research. You don't have to make the same mistake somebody already made. Please go and make new mistakes, right? So that means you need to read. You need to read articles, you need to read magazines, you need to read books and learn about failures. Especially, I love reading about dot-com failures from the crash in 2000. I mean, there's some crazy ideas that failed back then and lost a lot of money that are somehow back again now, 15 years later, and somehow raising millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. Maybe it won't end the same, maybe this time is different, but I've heard that enough times to not believe that this time is different. But don't be afraid to fail. So I would say, one of the things, Robert, that would you agree with me, from a think you can or think you can't standpoint is you need people around you that boost you up, that make you think you can.
Surround yourself with the people that believe in what you're doing, and surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you. Because that is what will keep you going, especially in the hard times. And let me tell you, when you're an entrepreneur, when business is great, you have a lot of friends. When stuff starts going bad, that's when you find out who your true friends really are.
Your real friends are.
Yeah.
So one of the failures that we had many years ago was with Real Vibes. It blew up. We got to be extras in the film Too Fast, Too Furious. Robert had bought a little Honda Civic. At the time it was black, regular Honda Civic DX hatchback, automatic. And he bought the car and swapped out everything. I mean, this guy, Civic, he did it all at home. Civic SI engine, turbocharger, the works. And he did all this stuff himself. I watched him swap the engine at home and convert it to a manual and then design, we're going to make it the Real Vibes promo car. Design the graphics himself in Photoshop, carried it to the guys and said, put this on the car. And so because of that, we got asked to put the car in the movie. And we said, great. They said, okay, so you need to take off the branding. I'm like, no, that's the point of the car. Why would we take off the branding? But you know what? And this was John Singleton was directing Too Fast, Too Furious. And I said, well, you can't come to Miami and shoot a car movie and don't have Jamaicans in the movie. So the Jamaicans in. So they put us in the opening scene, and for 5 days down in Miami, in Overtown, we had to walk across, hail up Ludacris, hail up Paul Walker, and then go and stand. And we had to do that for 10 hours a day, 5 times, 5 weeks. And I was like, we got paid well, but because of that, we had asked John, guess what, John? we want permission to take pictures behind the scenes while we're here. So all the different cars that you have in here, the Nissan Skyline, the Hyundai 2000, all this stuff. And we want to post them on our website called Real Vibes. Don't worry, it's just a little website. Okay, so we went, I got 127 pictures, uploaded them to Real Vibes, and I used to go on this website called IGN.com. IGN is now the largest men's website in the world, based here in the US. Mainly was focused on video games and movies. So I email him and say, hey, check out our photo gallery from Too Fast, Too Furious. Maybe you want to use some of the pictures. And they say, yeah, we'll take 3 pictures and then we're going to link back to your website. Okay, that's cool. Put up the 3 pictures. Our friend David, our loyal reader, was an extra. Check out 3 of his pictures. He has another 100 and something in his gallery. People come to the website, now they're seeing Sean Paul's latest music video and Beanie Man in studio. So the website blew up. So we had 1 terabyte of bandwidth a month on our server, which back then was a lot. You know, we were paying $175 a month for that hosting. So this is 2005, 2006. Boy, so July, we end up getting, well, June we get a bill that goes straight to my personal American Express for $4,000.
Oh my goodness.
And it cleared because of a $10,000 limit. But American Express is not a credit card. You pay that off at the end of the month. So Robert was like, damn, website blew up. $4,000, man, that hurt me, boy. We have some money in the bank, we pay that $4,000. Great. Next month come now, and a bill hit for $6,000. Straight to the credit card. Because we have to pay for going over our bandwidth. So we have a terabyte and we're using 5 terabytes, and we're paying like $1.25 per gigabyte over the limit. So of course, the 3rd of August comes, and the domain guys call Robert. Hey, Mr. Mullins, you guys hit your bandwidth limit already, you know. What do you want to do? What was your answer?
Plug out the server.
Plug out the server. What do you mean plug out the server, sir?
Literally, we told him to plug the server out of the wall because we wouldn't be able to afford the bill if it came.
Do you know what's going to happen if you plug out the server?
Yeah, I'm going to save $15,000.
Yeah, I'm not getting a bill for $15,000 at the end of the month. So we shut it down for 6 months and sat down at home. And I remember Mom called to check on us. They're in Palm Beach, we're in Pembroke Pines, and Mom is like, haven't heard from you guys in like 2 days. How is everything? You know, you're good. I was like, man, we're up to our eyeballs in debt because this website blew up and we can't get any money from investors. This is not good. But don't worry, Mom. I'm cool, man. I can solve this. If anybody come after me for money, I'll just jump off a bridge. Problem solved. I'm good. I'll be better off than them. And Mom, literally, Mom, within 45 minutes, she was in Pembroke Pines knocking the door with pizza. Come, you guys need to open the drapes. You need to come outside. She's a nurse. She's like, I don't ever want to hear you say that again. And so we eventually negotiated with our parents to help us get somewhere to get out of debt. And at first I said, well, we'll step in and help you a bit, but you guys are going to need to take some part-time jobs to try and work off some of this money. And I said, well, we are our parents. You're supposed to bail us out. And they said, well, guess what? Parents do not hold their children and let them walk like this. That's not how you teach a child to walk. You let the child get up and fall, and get up and fall, and keep doing that until they get up under their own power. You cannot teach a child to walk by holding the child and moving their legs for them. So they were saying it's the same thing. You're learning to walk as an entrepreneur. I'm not going to carry you. So you need to go and get it done. So that is how, whether you think you can or think you can, we need people who are going to get behind and say, no, we're going to back you. But they're not going to just carry you, right? And there's a difference. So number 2, clarity of purpose. So once you have the right mindset, you need to have a greater purpose than just making money. I'll be very honest. So Robert has his own. I'm going to give mine. Mine's a little crazier than most people's. I was 15 years old when I finished high school in Jamaica. We finished was 5th form down in grade 11. And so I remember a young lady asked me at a party, so what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, oh, I want to be a positive role model for young people around the world. I can marry you right now? I mean, she was just so blown away that was my answer. I want to be a positive role model for young people around the world. That's it. Everything I do in my life going forward has to do with being a positive role model. If it doesn't help me to do that, I'm just not interested. And so I said to Dad, there are 4 ways that I can do that. In my opinion, I think there are 4. Number 1, I could be a politician, and I could actually influence policy and be an honest politician. And Dad said, that's great, but you're not going to be a politician in Jamaica because I'm not about to have any of us get in trouble. And more importantly, for you to get to a position of power, you're going to have to break the rules that we've raised you with. And I don't think you're going to be able to manage that. So that's out. What's the second one? I said, great, Dad. I could be like you. I could be a lecturer at the university and teach students. And he's like, I'm flattered you want to follow me. But the people who really need the influence are the ones who drop out of high school. So cross that off your list. So I was, all right, fine, what's left? I could own a film and media company that makes movies and produces music, because I think that influences people more than anything else. Or I could become a soccer star, a football star, and use that for good. And he said, well, those are not mutually exclusive. So I followed playing both. I actually ended up playing in Jamaica in the 2nd division after finishing my bachelor's degree, and played on the under-21 team, and then came back and did my MBA. And so Robert has his clarity of purpose, and let's hear what his reason is.
Well, mine is not as deep as his. I mean, literally for me, when it happened, I found out I had a heart condition. And I went in, literally almost died one day playing soccer. And I was laying on the hospital bed, and the doctor looked at me and said, you can never ever work a regular job again. Because the restrictions that they had put on me, I had to reduce my stress. I had to have a guaranteed schedule. I mean, all the restrictions that I was given, I was unemployable basically. And that day I got up and said, you know what, from now on, my purpose is I want to be able to take care of myself and my family. And the only way I can do that was to become an entrepreneur. And so that is what gave me my purpose, and that's what gave me the mindset I needed to be able to get through everything that's going on.
All right, so it's an important one. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So that's important. I do this because I want to be a positive role model. He's doing it because he wants to literally survive and provide for his family. So focus on why you want to do it. Don't just be about the money, be about something bigger than money. So here's the opportunity matrix that we use. So the key thing is that a lot of us get opportunities. The biggest downfall we had with Real Vibes is that when Real Vibes took off, we signed a deal with YouTube, we're doing stuff with The Roof on Telemundo, we're doing stuff with MTV. All these new opportunities kept flooding in. And we had a list of 6 things we wanted to connect with: film, TV, magazine, clothing, video games, and so on. And we jumped on every single opportunity, every single deal, thinking that if we don't do it now, we're going to miss out. Now we have a different matrix. A close friend of mine, Sheldon Munro, came up with a matrix with 3 things to evaluate any opportunity that comes on his desk. And I added one more piece to it, and Robert has agreed with it. So I need to know how much effort and time is it going to require from me, and we rank that low, medium, and high. What's the potential payoff? Low, medium, high. What's the risk? Again, low, medium, high. And most importantly, and I think our generations agree, is the enjoyment. I'm actually going to enjoy doing this. So I look at a project, for example, recently that was low effort and time from me, high potential payoff, low risk, and high enjoyment. I said yes. I sat on the board of a non-profit that required a lot of time and effort, had low payoff because they weren't executing, medium risk in my opinion. They might fail, they might not fail, and I definitely wasn't enjoying it. So I resigned. I don't have time for that anymore. I can't do everything. I need to focus on actually taking care of me. I need to enjoy it. Self-care is something that's important, and I think Robert can agree on the enjoyment part especially. So the third one, make a plan. We shouldn't have to explain that failing to plan is planning to fail. Have a plan. You don't have to have a plan as extreme as me. Robert will say it again, not as deep as David's plan. When I was 15, I put together a 15-year plan broken into blocks of 5 years. Wow. That was supposed to result in me being able to be a positive role model for young people. It was as simple as that.
He's not kidding, he really did.
Including by when should I get married,
wow.
And then when I expect to actually have children because I want to play sports with them like my parents did. So I worked all the way backwards. So, but the important part of how that plan came to fruition, I was shy. How am I going to be a role model and speak in front of people if I'm shy? I need to solve that problem first then. Otherwise, I have to solve the problem. How do I solve the shy problem? Well, my way was, my undergrad degree is in biology, and mine did chemistry and religion, so I'm a scientist at heart. I decided, you know what, the reason I'm shy is because I'm afraid of rejection. That's why most people don't ask somebody for money, or don't ask that person to go, because they're afraid of rejection. So I decided simply, I will go and talk to every single pretty girl on campus. Wow. Because then I get rejected. And we started at Broad Community College, South Campus. So I decided, great, all I have to do is just sit down beside the girl, talk, get flopped, move on to the next one. So I walk up to the first girl now, brave, sit down on the bench beside the classroom. Hi, I'm David Mullings, what's your name? Kind of look at me. I said, no, don't worry, I'm not looking at you, I'm only 15 years old, and you're like 18 anyway. Don't worry, I'm not looking at you. Oh, there's no way you're 15. Show me a driver's license. I don't have a driver's license, I have a learner's permit there. Sure. Oh my God, you're Doogie Howser, you're a genius. Can you help me with geography? Can you help me with math? And I was like, yeah, I can help you. Call her friends over. Hey, this guy's only 15 years old. He's like my cute little brother now. Come, he's here to help us with math. So I was like, wow, didn't work exactly as planned. But then I learned. First thing, be non-threatening. Number 2, be yourself. Nothing wrong with that. So now, great, I know how to get to the girls. How do I get to the guys? That's only 50% of the population. How do I get the guys to want to talk to me? Which is even weirder, right? So all right, I'll go to the game room and hang out. I'm going to play pool, learn to play pool with Robert. We'll get pretty good at that. To me, that's physics. I played video games the whole time, so I was playing Mortal Kombat in the room. Fine, some of them would play with me, but then they'd leave the room and then not talk to me at all. Not in class, they don't care who I am, they wouldn't eat lunch with me. So I started leaving the same time as the guys, the most popular guys, even if I didn't have class. And I'd be walking with them, and they'd pass some of the pretty girls, and I'm like, man, that girl look good. And I'm like, soon come. Hi, Jessica, what's up? Kiss, kiss. Hi, Michelle, kiss, kiss. And then walk back. And it's like, yo, no, introduce me. You know her? Introduce me. And so I became the guy that just connected people together. That was it. And that was in the first year of the 15-year plan. You have to be willing to put a plan together and try. Don't be afraid to get flop. Just put yourself out there. What's the worst that can happen? They say no? Okay. My life don't change. It's not any worse. That's why I think, my life won't be any worse if they say no. I mean, but I need to be careful. Don't be persistent. If she says no,
No means no.
Our eyes are going to get, just chill. She'll see you working and she'll come back and say, man, you tried to talk to me. He's doing something now. Let me talk to you. So I think Robert touched on this one already. Right people. In our case, we had some really smart parents doctor and lawyer, who didn't want us to go into med school. So when our parents decided, my age was 15, they said, hey, you're going to present a business plan every summer and every Christmas for this, to invest $10,000 in a business. 5-year projections as well. And so Robert and I had to stand up and present. Back then it was flip charts, pieces of paper. And I kept saying no every year for 5 years until we presented Real Vibes in our actual MBA program. Somebody offered $10,000 and I said, no, we'll give you the $10,000. You don't know if it's the right kind of investor. You just met the person. You don't know if it's the right partner you want for your business. It's not necessarily smart money, it's just money. Smart money means that they actually open doors for you. Money is just, oh, here's $10,000. That's not helpful. I need $10,000 plus guidance plus introductions. That's what you want. So our parents said, yeah, here's $10,000. We'll give you the $10,000. And Robert and I said, great. Where's the money? And they said, no. We absorbed their living cost up to $10,000. You're going to take part-time jobs. So we worked at the movie theater, movie up in Davie. And all the money we make, we put back into the business. So they took on the car payment. It was their house we were paying rent, so we stopped paying rent. They took on the cell phone bill. And I said, Dad, why would you do that to us and not give us the cash when we could have gotten the cash? If you earn the money, you spend it differently than if we just cut your check for $10,000. Understand how to think about money. So, right people on the bus, wrong people off the bus, right people in the right seats. Find the right people. And so this could be a life. Your life is a bus. The people on that bus will help decide where that bus goes. Get the wrong people off. And don't feel any way. Oh, I know you from you're 2 years old. I'm sorry, we're going in different directions. Yeah. I'm sorry. We'll come back later. Maybe you can listen to me, but cut off, done, check you on Facebook. I'm good. You really have to do that. It's hard, but you have to do it. And then we have attracting capital. I'm going to give you this one, because we're going to do the Q&A. Skillful pitching is a necessary but not sufficient part of raising capital. Everybody thinks that, oh yeah man, David is a good salesperson. He's funny, he can talk, he knows how to network with people. That's not why I raise money though. That's just a start. That's not the reason I end up raising money. And Robert knows he's raising money on his own as well. So he knows that it's not about being charismatic. That's not what actually gets you the money. You can get your foot in the door, but that doesn't give you the money. So when we do the Q&A, we're going to talk about our mistakes, but we talked about failure again. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, supposedly. And he said, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. He failed 10,000 times trying to get the light bulb done. But he invented the light bulb though. We don't run around saying he failed 10,000 times and then invented the light bulb. We say he invented the light bulb. People don't care about how many times they fail. Just succeed once. Succeed one time. Just keep trying. If he can do it, we can do it. So here's the quote I'm going to leave you with as we go into the Q&A, because I like worship Steve Jobs. So here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. If they're not fond of rules, you can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them or vilify them, But the only thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius because the crazy ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So I very much am a round peg in a square hole or a square peg in a round hole. The rubber guy definitely don't fit in. Most of you in here probably don't fit in anywhere either. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. So, pull up. We're Jamaicans. I actually took this picture last week too at the Microsoft store because it was the midnight launch of the Xbox One X. How many gamers in here? Good. So I was at the midnight launch of the Xbox One X picking up my Xbox. So I wanted to put my own picture in. And he's a gamer as well. So we're going to open it up to questions. And of course I could teach a whole semester, but that's fine. So let us get some questions in. I can have a fun story if you don't have a question.
Mistakes.
The mistakes.
Alright, we got a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you said the pitch isn't everything. So
Right.
So what would you say?
Alright, so the pitch isn't everything. So the most important thing, so when you go to an investor, you have to have an idea first. It might not be a functioning business, but what is the idea? You don't need an amazing, mind-blowing idea. Facebook was not an amazing, mind-blowing idea. But you have to have an idea, but you need to have a team. So they're going to say, okay, well, the idea is good. That's great. Okay, why you? Why are you going to succeed at doing this idea when 10 other people have the same idea somewhere around the world? Why should I give you the money? So you need to have a damn good answer for why you. And it can't just be, oh, because I'm brilliant. You know? And you really don't want to say because of me. You need to say, here's the team that's going to help me build it. If it's something you're building and you need somebody to code, here's a technical person who can code it. Here's a marketing person that's going to help. Here's a PR person that's going to get us the publicity. Here's a person that knows how to raise money. Here's the mentor who has done it before.
And then you also have to show them the problem you're fixing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you just have an idea and it's not fixing a problem, they're not going to be interested in it.
Solve a pain point. Like actually solve something. Don't just be a me too, let me just create something. Actually say, here's a problem, here's how we fix it, here's why you're betting on my team and no other team. Fair enough? So that's how you actually have to pitch. So, more questions. I have cool stuff to show you.
Let's talk about some of the mistakes.
Oh man, so Dad, just the other day, Dad asked us this one. He said, David, you need to sit down and plan out, write out every single business venture you guys have ever tried. Everything you've tried on the real life and other things. And write down what were the things that caused each of them to fail. And then figure out what was common amongst all of them. Only 2 things showed up in every single one of them. First thing was the people. Sometimes we had the wrong people on board, the wrong partners, the wrong investors, the wrong companies to partner with because the company went bankrupt or the company wouldn't execute on their part. So that was the first one. And then the second one, what was the second biggest problem?
Money. We didn't have enough capital. So when we did the budgets and the projections, we didn't do a proper budget. So we didn't always have the cash flow to be able to get through the slow periods. So every time you get to that cash crunch, we had an option: either you have to fold or we have to come up with a new idea. So when you're looking to start a business, make sure you're realistic with your projections, because the hardest thing for a business to do is to come up with cash overnight. If you miss that projection, that can sink a business. And what we need to remember, 9 out of 10 businesses that are started in America, they fail. So you have a 1 in 10 chance of succeeding. So you want to give yourself every single opportunity to make sure it works.
All right, so we talk about being underfunded, but we're not saying you need to have to go out and raise $1 million. So we're going to give you a cool story and show you how to be creative entrepreneurs. We need to be a lean startup. We need to hustle. That's why I say you need to straight up hustle. So I'm going to show you a video. My wife is a massive Mariah Carey fan. When I say massive, oh, you don't have audio?
Oh, yeah. She turned it down.
Okay. So she's a Mariah Carey fan and she wanted to join the Mariah Carey fan club. And I said, okay, well, we want to work on a deal with Sean Paul. We had gone on tour with Sean and we said, hey, you don't have a fan club. Mariah is earning all this money. Usher is earning all this money. I said, cool, I'll let you guys run it, but what you do with the fan club? Oh, I don't know. Oh, my wife wants to join the Mariah one. Well, that's a tax write-off to pay for her to join it. And then she'll tell me what they do every month. So we paid for her to join it. And they were releasing their new album. And this was a song. They decided to do a remix competition for this song. So this is the original song.
Oh.
Check the phone and the video itself.
Alright, so you hear the beat? How many of you actually know the song? Yeah, it's on the remix. So they sent you, you could download all the different parts, the vocals, the guitar, the piano, and my wife said, hey, they're doing a remix competition, I want to enter. Because you guys do all the real vibe stuff. She did our logos, all our graphic design. You guys know the artist, you've been on tour with Sean Paul. Let's do a remix. She just wants to enter for the fun of it. She don't care about winning, she just wants to enter and participate. I was like, cool. Well, if we're going to do a remix, we need to do this proper because real vibes don't play. We literally called Dare to Be Different was what we talked about. So the typical American would just do this remix, the same beat and they just stick a rap on it. That's not a remix to us, that's the same song. We need to chop up the beat and really remix the song. So we called in some favors, and I'm going to show you what we came up with and explain what happened afterwards. Robert, you might have to put it up, look for it while I'll let Robert look for it. So, very simply, we said, all right, we need to get an artist on there, a Jamaican artist. So we made 3 phone calls. Whoever actually answered the phone was the one that was going to get to be on the song. So it was a good friend of ours, Cesar Cunningham, who is now my oldest son's godfather. So Cesar answered and said, send me the stuff, I'll put together a song. So he ended up remixing the song, sent us a remix a week later. I was playing it in West Palm Beach at Mom's house on my phone, and Mom started dancing. And I was like, so when Mom started dancing, I was like, wait, if Mom dancing, I think we need to take this more serious. And I don't care about winning, we need to use this to help Cesar's career and help real vibes. So we said, all right, the typical person that's going to enter this remix competition is going to do the song and then just upload it to the website and then tell their friends to vote for it. I need to be a little bit better than them. The next person is going to take the Mariah video on YouTube and put their song under it and upload it to YouTube and then tell you to vote for it. I need to be better than them because ours is more sync up because we have a Jamaican artist in there. That's not TI and it's not the same way. Great. How do we solve that problem? We need to shoot our own music video. We run a video company, we should shoot our own video. Let's call in some favors and shoot our own video. So we said, all right, we need to shoot the video, we're going to splice it with the Mariah Carey video. So Mariah is in scenes, Cesar is in scenes. Just like Sean Paul and Baby Boy with Beyonce was never in the same place with her. We could do the same thing. So we called in some favors. So we actually, because of Real Vibes, we had a relationship with Def Jam, which is who Mariah was signed to. So they sent us the HD version of the video. So we got the highest quality version. A friend of ours who grew up on the street below us in Jamaica was now living here in Miami and was running a company called Steady Image that shot videos. So we said, hey, we need a director, we need the video person. We called Gil Green, who now is based here in Miami, 305 Films. So Gil, we've been in a bunch of his videos, and we said, hey Gil, begging your favor, come direct this video. I can't do it right now, David, you can take my second in command, Damien Fine. So Damien came free of charge to direct the video and come with a concept. We had the cameras, and I said, hey, we can get better cameras. The new red camera just came out. This guy goes to Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. He can sign out the cameras as a school project. So he signs out the cameras as a school project and brings the cameras. We need a venue. DJ GQ is a friend of ours. Went to Brown Community College, was a year ahead of us. Is a Jamaican that went to high school with me. GQ said, well, I have my office. You can use the back of the office. I have a little bar, and every now and then I'll have a little drink up. But I have to be in the video. If you're going to use my place for free, I need to be the DJ in the video. Okay, no problem. You can be the DJ. No problem. We need clothes. So I clothes. So here's the video that we ended up putting together. And then we'll ask, how much do you think we spent? Those are all our friends just hanging out. You want to be in a music video? We'll feed you and give you drinks. There! We never seen our video shot. So just call a friend. He took my credit card and I went to Target and said I'm going to spend $1,000. We're buying some stuff, some plants, some stuff, some material. We're going to use it and I return it in less than 14 days. So that's what he did. We did it. Oh, what?
We rented it from Target.
Rented it from Target. Thank you, Target. Big shout out to Target.
And
the way. Just clothing was all provided by 2 clothing lines, 8 and 9 clothing. We still work with, we're going there right now. And I clothing. Yeah, man.